I know it's been a while, but I made some blind bags, and I'm not quite good at them anymore since I've been drawing, and then I mean, we got the first bag, cloud. My trash gone now. Ah! It could be one or three, and it has the wow, the or the ho ho ho. We got two blind bags and it's the wow. The wow! Wow! We can open this easily. Oh yes! The wow is actually so pretty. Yippee! Yippee! Yeah! Woo! Look what we got. Oh my God. Butterfly, butterfree, butter hee hee, cocoa melon. So first we got this, and then her pet, a butterfly. And then we got her bag, that's not really a bag. And then we got her pillow. I don't know. I have like 21 IQ whenever I make them. Oh, the blue. We're back. I'm sorry for that. Well, let's open this one that's already open because nothing. We got, first up we got cinnamon. And then, I forgot to name this. So then we forgot about her clothes, which is like this because I had to when I kill. Don't you want to give me just? Yeah. Yeah. I'm hungry. I was hungry. Well,
The examiner says he has seen enough and tells Kane to go home and wait for the results. He heads back home, and Sylvia wonders how he did. He says everything went well, and Sylvia wants to have a party to celebrate. He says it's still too early to celebrate, but his stomach growls, and Sylvia rushes off to prepare him some food. At the palace, we see Kane as he is questioned by the king about the damage that he caused. Kane explains how the examiner told him he could use his full power since there was a barrier, but even though he only used beginner magic, instead of his mid-ever level magic, it still caused a massive damage. The king is surprised he can use emperor level magic, but Cain says he's not sure what would happen to his surroundings if he used it, asking if there is anywhere he could practice, but they tell him absolutely not. The king goes on to ask him where he took his exam, because Telestra complained that she didn't see him during the exam. Cain mentions how he checked in at the south entrance and was directed to his room. Upon hearing this, the king asks him why the academy has a north and south entrance, causing Cain to realize his mistake, because the north entrance leads to where the nobles live, and he ended up taking the exam with all the commoners instead. The Duke mentions how this even caused a problem with the academy headmaster, as we see in a flashback, the headmaster telling him there is a problem with releasing the results, because a commoner got a perfect score on the written exam, as well as destroying the training area, and fighting on equal footing with an A-rank adventurer. But the Duke just laughs hearing this, knowing it could only be Cain, and tells the headmaster to release the results. At the academy, the results are released, and Cain looks for his name. Silk calls out to him, telling him he is at the top of the class, while Telestra is second, and she is in third place. She teases him about the damage he caused, and tells him that Telestra is mad she didn't see him, making him worry he is in trouble. He suddenly sees his sister Rain, who is guiding some other students. She rushes over to him, overjoyed to see him. She is impressed with the top of his class, and wishes him luck on his speech, saying that it's tradition for the top-scoring student to give a speech at the entrance ceremony. Cain wishes Telestra to do it instead, but Rain tells him he doesn't have a choice. Cain returns home, and Sylvia is overjoyed to learn he passed, saying they need to celebrate, and that she will cook enough food to feed 100 people. She rushes off, and Cain thinks she is going overboard, but he thinks it's a good occasion to be happy. On the day of the entrance ceremony, Cain sees that his parents have come to watch him. He is joined by Telestra and Silk, charming them instantly, as they think he looks cute in his uniform. As the ceremony begins, the other students wonder who he is, jealous that he's sitting between the two girls. The headmaster calls Cain up to give his speech, and he introduces himself, mentioning how he got his exam mixed up, but looks forward to becoming friends with everyone, hoping they can all get along, and all the students cheer for him. The king comes out to congratulate all the students, mentioning certain irregular students, and Cain feels like he is being warned by the king. They get to their first class, and their homeroom teacher introduces herself as Elka. She tells them to think about their future and choose what they plan on studying. Cain wants to go for adventuring, but the girls object. Telestra says that he is already a baron. He needs to learn more about being a noble. Cain gets upset, but Silk tells him he can choose more than one course. So Cain decides to go with nobility, adventuring, along in their class, since they are all nobles. But Cain steps in, saying nobles and commoners are equals at the school. Habit doesn't care, but soon realizes he is talking to Cain, remembering their past encounter. The boys wonder. Habit threatens to tell his father to ruin Parma's family, but the girls approach, causing the boys to get on their knees and apologize. They are forced to apologize to Parma, and they quickly get away. Parma thanks Cain for his help, but the girls suddenly wonder about his relationship with her, making Cain kneel as they have a chat with Parma. He gets worried they are forming an alliance, but he suddenly hears a voice, telling him to visit the library. Cain decides to check it out, but as he opens the door, it leads to another space, and he is teleported to a room where he meets a man, who asks him if he wants some coffee. Cain demands to know who he is, wondering how there is coffee in this world, but the man says he has been waiting for him, calling him Kazuya, his name from his previous life. The man introduces himself as Yuya, and Cain recognizes him as the first king. He remembers the book he read, but remembers it was written more than 300 years ago, so he wonders if he is a ghost. But Yuya just laughs, and tells him he can check his stats. Cain opens up his status window, and is shocked when he sees he has the God of Creation title. Yuya explains they are in another world that he created, so he is considered a god, and maintains his appearance even after 300 years. He goes on to explain how he spoke with Xenom, and how the other gods wanted him to help with his training. Cain thinks he is already too strong, so Yuya tells him to take a cookie from him. Cain gives it a go, but Yuya easily stops him, saying he has a long way to go. Cain wonders why he needs to get stronger, and Yuya reveals he needs to fight Eren, the evil god. He explains that 300 years ago, Aaron made people all over the world fight and kill each other by using an oracle, sowing distrust in everyone's subconscious and making them fight. But together with his companions, they managed to seal him away, but the seal has since loosened, and he will soon be resurrected. Cain asks why he can't just seal him again, but Yuya says since he became a god, he can no longer directly interfere in the world, just like the other gods. Yuya also mentions that Cain's previous life is important, but they suddenly teleport to the sea. Yuya throws him a sword, and says he will tell him more if he can complete his training. He gives him a compass to follow, which he says will lead him back to the house where they were. He tells Cain to level up, saying he would need to get to at least 600 to stand a chance against Aaron. Cain thinks it will take forever, since he is only around level 300, so he worries about missing school. But Yuya tells him that 1 year in this world is equal to only 1 day in the other world. Yuya wishes him luck and disappears, and Cain realizes he has no other choice, so he starts heading back to the house. As he enters the forest, he is instantly attacked by a range of deadly monsters. Meanwhile, in the other world, Telestia and Silk pay a visit to Cain's mansion, wondering about Cain because he didn't go to school. Sylvia also gets worried, thinking he could be in some kind of trouble, but Telestia has faith in him, and decides to stay over and wait for him to return. We see Cain as he is caught by a beast, and is completely exhausted, but he manages to blast it with his magic, falling to the ground. We learn he has already spent months in the forest, and he wonders if he will ever get back. He suddenly hears a cry, and he gets up out of instinct, dragging himself over to the sound, and he finds an injured beast lying on the ground. He thinks about putting it out of its misery, but as he is about to do it, he suddenly remembers how he always just wanted to protect someone, so he forces himself to use all the magic that he has to heal the beast. But this ends up causing him to pass out. The beast protects him from the other monsters, and when Cain wakes up, it jumps on him and starts licking him. Thinking that it's also all alone, Cain asks it to join him, and he ends up naming it Haku. Together with Haku, he manages to keep his sanity, remembering he can't give up no matter what, because he has something to protect. After some time, he finally makes it back to the house, and Yuya welcomes him back, commenting on how big he's gotten, and we learn 4 years have passed. He is also surprised to see Haku, mentioning that it's a holy beast, and suggests they could form a contract. Cain gives it a go, and Haku disappears, but Yuya says he can now summon him whenever he wants. Yuya goes on to introduce him to his next teacher Durin. Durin tells him he's still not strong enough, because Aaron is even stronger than Yuya, who is stronger than him, so Cain needs to first defeat him. Cain uses his boost skill, but Durin dodges his attack, knocking him out with a single punch. When Cain wakes up, he finds he was taken in by Durin, and he meets his wife Ruri. They also have a pet dragon named Jin, and Cain is excited to see it, wanting to be its friend, but Haku jumps on him, and doesn't seem to like the dragon. Cain joins them for a meal, and he starts to cry, because it's the first time he has gotten to eat real food in 4 years. Meanwhile, we see Telestia and Silk baking. They are worried about Cain, but are learning how to bake, wanting to make him happy when he returns. Cain keeps on fighting with Durin, and he gets beaten up every day. After training for a year, Cain is still getting beaten up, and Durin wonders how he will be able to defeat Aaron. But Cain thinks back to his talk with Yuya, where he explains Aaron used to be the god of amusement in the other world. Cain is shocked to learn there used to be 8 gods, and Yuya tells him how Aaron used an oracle to force everyone in the world into a death game, and if he returns, the death game will happen again, and everyone Cain knows will get caught up in it. Cain uses this as motivation to continue his training. Yuya also goes on to reveal the reason that Aaron is linked to his past life is because Aaron killed his parents. We learn that his parents Seiya and Megami were also killed in a car accident and summoned as heroes to the world. The gods were unable to interfere directly, so they tasked the 3 of them with stopping Aaron, giving them an orb that could seal him away. They fight against Aaron, but he is unaffected by Megami's magic. So Yuya and Seiya charge at him, attacking with their swords, and even managing to cut his arm, but Aaron retaliates with his magic, which ends up killing Megami. Seiya activates his ultimate skill, charging at Aaron, but he ends up getting stabbed. However, Yuya takes this chance, and manages to seal him, but at the cost of Seiya's life. As Cain thinks about saving those dear to him, he manages to overpower Durin, and he finally completes his training. Cain visits his parents' graves, and Yuya says how they were always worried about him. Cain thanks Yuya for looking after his parents, and Yuya shows him the cookie, which he manages to grab this time, and Yuya acknowledges his growth. Yuya suggests having some coffee, but Cain is eager to get back to the other world. Yuya points out how different he looks, but he uses his power to revert his appearance. Yuya tells him to take care of Haku, and Durin tells him to take Jin to see the other world as well, so Cain forms a contract with it. Cain thanks them both for looking after him, and he prepares to go